I'd probably best describe us as fun, and that's mainly because of my husband, I feel like. We like to travel, we like to experience life together. Really just hanging out together. My family, it'd be me, it's Caitlin, my husband, and my son Grayson, who's 7, and my daughter Hadlee, who's 3.
They both have unlimited energy. Hadlee, in one word, would be wild. She is crazy in a good way, though. She will always keep you on your toes.
She's so funny and personable. She's our little social butterfly. We lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico once Caitlin and I got married. That's where Caitlin's family's from up until her diagnosis, which was when life got flipped upside down and we up and moved. Hadlee had this rash from around 6 to 8 months old. And then on July 21st of 2022, that day she woke up and had developed symptoms of a cold, but also the rash had spread all over suddenly after months of being dormant. And then she wouldn't wake up.
Even going to our pediatrician, they would tell us too, yeah, it's probably some form of eczema, put this cream on it and don't think much of it until you have to.
So we got admitted that night. The next day, we had a team of doctors come in. There was probably 8 doctors standing in front of us at the time. They wrote on the board a name, which was Langerhans cell histiocytosis. And I remember it was like they threw a grenade at us and walked out of the room. I remember us pulling out our phones and Googling what that was. And the first thing that came up was that it was cancer. They told us that they would have to come in,
And then you get the diagnosis, and that's when you're like, it's just so crazy as a parent to never second guess your gut. Because I feel like all along we had a feeling about that rash that something was up, but you get kind of reassured by medical professionals that it's not a big deal. But as a parent, you should always trust that parent gut.
When we started researching that day, we noticed that there was like one name that kept popping up on all the research. And that was this doctor, Dr. Kenneth McLean, who is at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston.
You're just going. There's only one direction, and we knew that direction was Houston at that point.
To make the decision to move here, we also have to think about our son and the effects that this had on his life, because he was already in school. He was going to start kindergarten.
You don't think about the other child a lot, at least from the public's view or friends and family. They're always asking about Hadlee, but we have another kid going through it as well, just as much in a lot of ways.
When we started treatment on August 6th, she looked like a different person. Dr. McLean didn't recognize her when he came in the room. Her body had swollen like 3 times its size. We were pretty much 2 days into that, and he came in and said, this is not gonna work.
When he couldn't recognize Hadlee after just seeing her the week prior, that just blew my mind. You as a parent too, you kind of panic and you're like, well, if they're worried, we should be really worried.
And what was a 5-day inpatient turned into like a 25-day inpatient. August 19th is a day I'll never forget in all of my life. It was the worst. You don't forget the day that your child looks you in the eye without even being able to talk and knowing that she is in severe pain. And she just was like, just looking at me for help. Like she just wanted me to help her. And I couldn't. There's nothing you can do. That was the day that Dr. McLean came in and said, we're going to put her on a clinical trial drug. And we had been waiting for that news.
Right away, almost, it seemed like it started to help her. When nothing else would stabilize her, she started showing signs of improvement. And I remember the first day she finally just ate something. That's one of those days where you're like, oh my gosh, like something's finally working. That little sign was a big step for both Jordan and I that like, okay, we're gonna get through this.
And within like 3 days, it was like she was a new person again. Within 5 days, we were out of the hospital. Even though it was very dark and there was a lot of hardships, our son had not been with us for a month and a half at that point. I will never forget the day he came back. We were walking around the cafeteria walkway, and we come around a corner and he's there. The goodness of being together. You don't realize when you're apart for so long from people that are a part of your everyday life. It's just so small, but it means so, so much. And so that day was a really, really great day. And I remember thinking, we'll be able to do this. We can do this.
Nothing better than seeing our family be a family again. That's irreplaceable.
Can you say Happy Easter?
How we first heard about Sky High was on Easter of Hadlee's first year of treatment. Her handed out these little goodie bags.
Those little things go way further for kids than people realize. To let them, even though they're hooked up to their port and their machine, receiving their chemo, they're still doing an Easter egg hunt. Getting to be as much as a kid as they can.
Hadlee loved it. It was so fun. I remember thinking the nurses, the child life staff, everyone there does such a good job of making it a happy place. But they do that because of organizations like Sky High. You start paying attention. Who's making the holidays fun? Who's bringing in just a little bit of joy to this thing that can be very joyless?
Once we saw the mission and got to know the people of Sky High a little bit better, we just wanted to support them. And we were lucky enough that they were supporting us and families like us throughout the year.
I love you.
There's a lot of talk about Hadlee doesn't have cancer anymore. The minute they told us, you're in the clear, we're gonna get the port out, we started living. I feel like it's just been a celebration. It's suddenly we're able to write in the book of our life again. Every moment is such a gift. Every birthday that she will have will be such a celebration because we were so close to not having any more for her. What are we gonna do next week? Be out at the hospital, what do you get to do?
Ding the bell.
You get to ding the bell?
Ringing the bell, I think, is going to be the final moment where I think it'll you have to hear that noise for it to click with you that, holy smoke, she's out of this thing.
We have a saying where even if you ask her throughout this, especially towards the end, I would tell her, so what are we? And she's like, I'm strong, I am brave, and I'm a fighter. And that's what she is, and that's what she will always be. I am lucky and blessed and honored to get to be her mom because God could have picked anybody to do it, but he picked us, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for that.